to some customers, and it wasn't me, the guy was wearing one of these. You have to be really careful with these at the end of your talk, because if you keep it on and you go to the bathroom, everybody can hear what you're doing. So I'll be very careful to take this off at the end. So Dubai360, I thought I'd start off with the cliched little planet of the little planet, which is something you can only do in Dubai, because only Dubai has built the world islands. Actually, the islands are built, there's not an awful lot on them at the moment, so people always ask, Dubai360, when is it going to finish? I don't think it's ever going to finish, because there's going to be more things to shoot. Let me just start off by answering the question that a lot of people ask, is that how did I get this gig? How did I get to do this? And it was really purely by accident. So I'll go into the background. I'll talk a little bit about the project timeline. People that are involved in some respects, it's actually quite surprising how few people are involved in this from a full-time perspective, but there's a lot of work in the background that has to go on to make a project like this successful. I'll also talk about the partnerships that we've had and the people that we've worked with. Again, going back to something from my old life, and the best sales guy in the company said, all you have to do is surround yourself with the best people and they'll make you look good. So that's sort of been my mantra. Talking about the content, there's lots of different sorts of content in Dubai360. Then go on the techie stuff. I'm assuming some people here are interested in the technical stuff in terms of how things were shot. Different rigs that we've got, some of which you will have seen in earlier presentations. But also the key thing is the software that's actually required to make this possible. The functionality that's in the tour, what you can do in the tour, I'll do a live demo. Hopefully the internet will hold up and we'll have a look at some of the features and functionality in the tour. What we launched with, it's been live for 5 months or so now. But we have been doing some updates as well. So this is not a project that many people would sort of be used to, I guess, where it's basically just completely open-ended. There's no budget for this, strictly speaking. So I'll talk a little bit about that and the post-launch updates, what we've been doing. Then some Q&A. But my presentational sort of preference is for people to interrupt if they have a question at the time, rather than save it at the end. So do feel free, Luke, if you can run around maybe with the microphone. If somebody does put their hand up or just wants to shout out a question at any time, just grab my attention and please feel free to interrupt. Otherwise, it's just my voice droning on for too long, and I'll send all to sleep before lunch. So Q&A at the end if you like it, and then a little teaser slide right at the end if I remember to press the right button. Okay, so a little bit of the background. So I guess my first foray into sort of the world of panoramas was I can't believe this is 5 years ago now. Was it 2010? Yeah. So back in 2010, what was at the time had the title of the biggest panorama in the world. It was more by accident than design, and it actually took someone 6 months to find Waldo in it. So the thing went live. It had lots and lots of publicity, lots of recognition. The Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, tweeted about it, which I was quite pleased about. And then I think it was 6 months after we went live, finally someone found Waldo in the panorama. So that was Dubai 45 gigapixels. Back then, Canon 7D, all those lovely tiny little pixels that has the 100 to 400 Canon zoom with the horrible vignetting, which you would see in that, and Gigapan Epic Pro. Perfectly decent for shooting sort of flat panoramas when you're defining your top left and your bottom right. Fantastic piece of kit. I lost mine when I was trying to shoot a panorama, shooting back Dubai the other way, and unfortunately it was in the sea in a slippery rock and it took a dive. That was the end of my Gigapan. Then I had a couple of years where I was actually still doing the old job, so I was actually commuting backwards and forwards from Dubai to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And that wasn't the most exciting 2 years of my life, but fortunately I was able to sort of build on the work that I'd done with the panoramas. I was shooting panoramas, but not commercially, really just for fun and just showing people sort of what they could do. And what I'd always wanted to do ever since I got to Dubai was basically stick my camera on the world's tallest tripod, which is the Burj Khalifa, 828 meters up, And after a lot of discussions, a lot of negotiations, and sort of toing and froing, finally got the permission to do that. And it was actually done. Unfortunately, as I pulled this out to be the size of the slide, the logo's cut off in the top right-hand corner. But this really became possible when it was linked to the Hamdan International Photography Award, which is an international photography competition that's run by the Crown Prince of Dubai, Sheikh Hamdan. And what I suggested was shooting this and use it to sort of promote and raise awareness of the photography award. So that's really what got me started on getting access to really cool locations to shoot panoramas. The Burj Khalifa Pinnacle panorama, I won't bother going and showing it. I mean, you just saw the video. It's just an image. There is not a single hotspot, nothing else whatsoever. And that was sort of deliberate on my behalf. I guess this was sort of my this was my Trojan horse, really, to say, look at the amazing view that there is from the top of this building. Look at how much there is in Dubai for people to see and explore. Wouldn't it be nice if we would be able to actually do a bigger tour of more interesting areas in the city? Little did I know at that point how big it was going to get. Okay, so the timeline on the project. There we go, there's a little bit delay there. The project, sorry about the stuttering, I think Luke's laptop's a little bit overworked maybe this week. The project kicked off in terms of actually starting to think about shooting content and what to shoot and what we'd need to shoot content with in July 2013. It rapidly became apparent that there was unfortunately no software on the market, or certainly we believe no software on the market that would be able to actually support not just the scale of the tour that we were doing, but also the way that we wanted to create the tour and manage the tour and continue to develop the tour. So had meetings with, extensive meetings and conversations with Alexander from Colour. And I think I'm right in saying, Alexander, the actual software kick-off in terms of when the Colour team sat down to start writing the software was actually November 2013. And I'll come on to talk about the people and the partners, but again, you've got to have a lot of faith in the people that you're working with, you're relying with, that they're going to be able to deliver what they say they can deliver. And again, it comes down to only partnering with the absolute best people you can find. Fast forward a little under a year, and August 2014, we just put out a teaser. It was actually what you see in the background there, but it was a 24 or 28-hour time lapse from Dubai Airport. I should maybe just backtrack a little bit. When we started this, the original intention was to shoot around 300 to 400 panoramas, some videos, and go live within 6 months. As with many things in the Middle East and in Dubai, when something takes hold, if people like what they see, then often the thing gets a little bit more attention and it gets bigger and bigger. So we blew past our original planned launch date, which was, believe it or not, January 2014. And I just felt that, quite a lot of people knew that we were doing this, and I felt that we really wanted just to get a marker out there and just let people know that yes, there was something coming. At that point, we still didn't know when we were going live. It hadn't been decided at what point we were going live. Just a little bit about the teaser. So you can see, and this is in the tour as well. I didn't pick up the laser pointer. Is this it? Is this a laser pointer? No. Okay. Where we are here is actually on the very top of the control tower at Dubai Airport. I think there's quite a few people who have probably flown through Dubai Airport or even visited Dubai. This is between the old terminals 1 and 3. It's the control tower for the whole airport. We got on the roof and went up to the top of the antenna and rigged a piece of aluminium truss which had some cameras on top of it, and I'll show you how this stuff works later on. We had all the permissions sorted out. Unfortunately, a lot of the time when you're doing these things, is people don't really appreciate what you're doing until you get there to do it. And we hit a snag with this one literally at the last minute, because apparently there's some FAA regulation that every airport around the world follows in terms of the maximum height of any structure on the airport, and I think it's 200 feet. And the control tower, the top of the control tower is 199 feet. We put a 15-foot aluminium truss on top of that. We increased the height of the building. They said, "Oh, you can't do that." We said, "Oh, And surely you can sort the permissions out for that for us. And an hour later, they had the stamped paperwork, and yeah, it was all done. So not easy to do this in many places in the world. That was a 28-hour time-lapse, 4 Canon 1D X's, taking a photograph every 5 seconds. So I think, I'm right in saying, that worked out at 88,000 photographs for that time-lapse. And it's still, I think, my favourite thing from the entire tour. Fast forward, January 2015, finally we launched. We agreed on a launch date. We launched on January the 19th this year. It seems a long time ago now, but yeah, it was only literally 5 months or so ago that the project actually launched. Okay, so that's the timeline. Any questions so far? Anybody want to interrupt? No? Okay. People. Right, so the core team in terms of people who are involved in creating the content, shooting, stitching, I think is actually remarkably small for considering how much we actually do. There's myself full-time. I hardly do any of the shooting. I did all the time lapses. I did the gigapixels. But in terms of the vast majority of the content in the tour is done by other people. I'll call those out in a moment. Full-time is just myself. Mohammed Nawaz, who's an Indian guy straight out of university, joined the team. And I turned up at work one day, and it's like, oh, here's Mohammed. And it's like, oh, hi, Mohammed, nice to meet you. What are you doing? And he goes, I don't really know. I've been told I'm here to manage the data. And an amazingly smart guy. And within a matter of months, he is a real wizard on all the software, whether it's be the stitching software, the video software, the back end that we have as well. So he's an absolute godsend. If he ever gets to see this video, Mohammed, thank you. Joel Toff, who I think probably quite a lot of you will know, he joined us permanently in February this year. So he's now basically our main photographer in terms of creating content. Mohammed Nawaz stitches it. But in the course of the tour, we actually had two people who, I've already called out Joel, but we had 2 people come out and join us just for 6-month stints to help create a lot of content. Jürgen, where are you?
Here.
Raise your hand. Just a massive thank you to Jürgen, who is an absolute star. Again, I'm going to say it again, surround yourself with the best people and they'll make you look good. And Jürgen came out for 6 months, did an amazing amount of work, hopefully had some fun as well. And he was superb. Jolt as well was here originally for 6 months. He did a lot of the interior panoramas, then he left, and then we brought him back permanently. So really there's only ever been one, in terms of full-time equivalent, there's only ever been one full-time photographer on Dubai360. So bear that in mind when we start talking about the numbers. But there is a massive support team behind us. People often ask about the structure of the company, how's it run, how's it funded. I'm not going to get into funding stuff today, but from a structure perspective, Dubai360 is effectively a project within a company called Dubai Film. Dubai Film, show of hands, who saw the Jetman video over Dubai recently? Quite a lot. Okay, that's pretty good. So Dubai Film is the company, it's a film production company, and they're the company who shot that film and created that film. Amazing bunch of talented guys. And I'm very fortunate because I'm able to dip into that resource pool to assist me on the Dubai360 project. So within all of these other people, they all work for Dubai Film. Again, just some call-outs. The project director, Ismail Al-Hashmi, he's actually the CEO of Dubai Film and some other companies as well. Grips, Michael Dix, Andy Gribble, and Rahib Rabi. This is quite funny. I think it's funny, and therefore you must laugh at the end of it, okay? Not now, at the end. When we started, we thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to put cameras here, there, and everywhere? And there was me and a couple of the cinematography guys from Dubai Film, like, literally dangling Freedom 360 rigs off the edge of buildings with fishing line, yeah? Because we thought, wouldn't that be a cool shot to get a shot going down the side of the building? So with the fishing line and the cameras going, something like this. And wouldn't it be cool to try to put a tripod on the top of this building and tape it up somewhere? And then Michael Dix got involved, and he's a grip. So his business is sticking cameras really where they have no business doing, and he's amazing. And he changed everything from a in terms of the professionalism of what we were doing and how we were able to speak to the locations where we wanted to go and shoot. So having good bricks for a project like this is absolutely essential. Very easily overlooked. We have a copywriter. She's freelance. We just employ her literally on a panorama by panorama basis. Every time we put up a new bunch of panoramas, we get Carly to write the descriptions. And it really does add a lot to the talk, I believe. I know, we're thinking photographically, and a photograph's worth, 1,000 words and all those cliches, but having good descriptions so that people can actually understand what it is they're looking at is absolutely key. So she does some fantastic work. Believe it or not, we actually have our own pilot now. Dubai Film, we have a pilot full-time, Andy Netterton, so whenever I need to go up in a helicopter, I just go and knock on his door and we go up in a helicopter, which is quite nice. Protocol, lots of, you'll notice Arabic names coming out now. Omar, Mohammed, Mustafa, Abdullah, and there's been a couple of other ones as well. These are the guys who basically enable us to go wherever we want to go. I am extremely lucky, and I think probably one of the luckiest guys in the world, because I'm doing what I love doing, but I can basically request to go almost anywhere in Dubai. It's not easy getting permission to go to the top of the Burj Khalifa. It's not easy getting a helicopter to fly down Sheikh Zayed Road at 300 meters. It's not easy doing a lot of things, but these are the guys who work behind the scenes to enable things like things I mentioned, but also Dubai Metro. So I wanted to, in the tour, I wanted to include the Dubai Metro. There's two lines, the red line and the green line. They're both, I don't know in terms of distance, they're both sort of about 40-minute journeys from end to end. And I wanted to film the entire journey, both directions, both lines, in 360 degrees with a camera on the front of the train. And because of the work of these guys, and obviously the assistance of organisations like the Road and Transport Authority who run the metro, I actually had the Dubai Metro as my own personal train set, full-size train set, for 5 consecutive Fridays in December 2013, which was quite amazing. I had to tell them in advance where we wanted to go, but they shut down the metro from 2 a.m. until 12 p.m. on a Friday for maintenance purposes. And on 4 consecutive Fridays, we went down, mounted a camera to the top of the train goes off. I'd been on the metro the day before and I said, can you please turn the lights on in the tunnel this time? The actual strip lighting in the tunnel, so they turned those lights on for us so we could see, so the camera could see through the tunnel. And that was just insane, absolutely insane. You're sitting there hiding from the camera, sort of in the front carriage, and just making sure the GoPros are still running. And you think, this is insane, I've got my own metro train and we're going the speed we want, we're not stopping at the stations. I don't think there's many places in the world you could get that sort of permission. One of the advantages of living in a place like Dubai, obviously, is if you have the high-level buy-in and the high-level sponsorship, from a support perspective, people are very keen to help you. So those guys working on protocol, absolutely fantastic. And social media, and apologies, there should be another name on here because she's just come off, but Federica and Sened, so they look after our social media. So Sened's actually full-time. So he runs the Facebook account, the Instagram account, the Twitter account, and Federica actually looks after the whole of the Dubai Film and Skydive Dubai media accounts. So they're the people. Okay. Partners, I'm just really going to call out 2. When I talk about colour, there are a couple of subcontracting companies underneath colour, but I view it all as colour because I'm always dealing just with colour. And Digisfera, Manuel, in terms of the front end. So what have colour done? So Alexander, feel free to jump in if I've not listed everything here. Again, when we started this project, there was no software available that was going to enable us to create the scale that we were looking at, but also to manage it. Unlike a lot of projects, we didn't just go out, shoot a bunch of content, put it online, and then that's it, we move on to the next one. We knew that this was not going to finish. This is something that we go live, and we'll continue to add content or maybe replace content. So we needed a system where we could add a single panorama to the tour without taking the tour offline, without anybody realizing what was going on. It's just bang, there's a new panorama there. It just exists. We also needed a system that could scale around the world, so that whether there's 10 people or 1 million people going to the website, that it's actually going to hold up. So we need that to work. It needs to be multi-user. I think I'm right in saying that there's no panorama software out there that's multi-user. Is that correct, Alexander?
No, there is.
Is that?
Yeah, but I will tell you more about
Okay, all right. So I wasn't aware of that, but multi-user and multi-role. So for example, Kylie, who's the copywriter, she has a role which is basically all she does is goes and does the translations. Joel, who's a photographer, he has a photographer role. There's things that he can do. But you can have multiple people working on it at the same time, all in a web browser. So it's all a web front end on some magic server stuff that happens in the background. So the front end of the application, the video encoding, Amazon Web Services, and just some absolutely stunning support as well. So huge thanks to Alexander and the team at Colour for all their work in the past and hopefully in the future as well. And I keep saying about work with great people. I cannot say enough about how awesome Manuel and Digisphere are. In terms of the front end, what they've built for us, how adaptable they've been when we've sort of changed our minds at the last moment. We actually had a good example. We were near go live, or not near go live, but we were near having to finalize a lot of the design of the website. And I don't know if anybody's seen the Dubai logo, but there's a relatively new Dubai logo that looks a bit odd until you realise it says Dubai in English script going that way, and it says Dubai in Arabic script coming back the other way. And we designed a logo for Dubai360, and then the next day, this thing comes out, and I think, oh, maybe we should actually reflect the corporate brand of Dubai and incorporate that into our logo. So the whole front end in terms of the colours and the logos and everything was all changed just like that, which was fantastic. The funny thing about the logo, I only found out about 3 months ago. We went and had a meeting with Dubai Tourism. We were going to be supporting them at one of the trade shows, the travel shows. And I said, oh, did you notice about the logo? And they said, yeah, you basically stole that logo from Dubai Tourism. And I said, stole it? They said, I thought it was fantastic. We're supporting the team. But apparently the idea was that nobody else would ever use that logo. It was only going to be Dubai. That's it. And we put Dubai, put some pretty graphics around it, and put 360 on the end. Again, we got away with it, fortunately, because of the connections, but that was like a year after, almost a year after the event that I found it out. So partners, yeah, surround yourself with great people. What's next? Content, okay. So, there's still panoramas, video, time lapses. I view video and time lapses as very different. Yes, from a playback perspective, it's the same thing, but actually creating them, obviously, is two different approaches. There's still panoramas, indoor panoramas. I mean, we scale the size of them basically depending on what we're going to shoot. If you're shooting a room in a hotel room, or a bathroom in a hotel room, there's no point doing a gigapixel. There's really just a complete waste of resource. So that sort of size, that sort of requirement are down at the 100 megapixel level. Outdoor ones, sometimes if it's sort of low at street level and there's not a huge amount of interest, or maybe you're inside a shop in a souk, for example, there'll be small 100 megapixels. And then we go up to 300 megapixels and 400 megapixels. That's just in terms of just a slightly different configuration of the lens which was used. And then there are a few we just call them gigapixels. They're all 6 gigapixel images. So, for example, the one that was taken at the top of the Burj Khalifa, that's a 6 gigapixel image. So that's the stills. Video, I actually set out to do an awful lot more video than we have done. Almost in a bit of a chicken and egg situation here. Continue waiting for that, that ultimate solution to come out in terms of the video camera. The GoPros are great, don't get me wrong. But we all know something better should be around the horizon any moment. So we're sort of holding back a little bit on videos because I don't want to have to go and, if I go and shoot 20 hours of video for Dubai360 and then we have to go and redo it again, that's a huge amount of work if we have to redo it in 6 months' time. The time lapses I spoke about, and other content that's sort of there that you maybe not think as content. but floor plans for certain areas and the map as well. So that's what's in the tour. And what do we use? Okay, so for the 100 megapixel still panoramas, typically 8-15 Canon of 15 millimeters, and on 60 or 5D Mark III. The 60 because that's what Jolt shot with. 5D Mark III, that's what we have in house. And Noble Ninja 3 as the head. Once we get above that in terms of the larger still panoramas, so 300, 400, either 24 or 28 millimeter lenses, and again Canon 5D Mark III, and the Seats round shot VR Drive 2, which is again, don't just surround yourself with the best people, but also, you know, if you are able to, which we're very fortunate that we are, surround yourself with the best kit as well. As a piece of equipment, I mean, I bought one myself when I did the Burj Khalifa Big Pinnacle panorama, and it's just rock solid, that thing. I can't say enough good things about it. 6 gigapixel still panoramas. Again, these were done with the VR Drive. Camera-wise, for a number of reasons, one partly quality, but partly because it just reduces the number of shots, we step up to medium format gear for this. So Alpa Rodenstock HR90, I don't know, probably a lot of people won't know about Alpa or Rodenstock. It's an extremely good lens. As a digital back, either the Phase 1 IQ 250, which is the relatively new, I think it's 18 months old now, CMOS back from Phase 1, or the IQ 180, which is what I've been shooting with for a number of years. And the Alpha 12 FPS, which is basically a camera which enables you to put almost any lens on the front of the camera and any digital back on the back of the medium format digital back. So that just gives you a lot of options in terms of what you're shooting. Does anybody know how Jolt did this, by the way, this panorama? Who contributed to that thread? Hands up. Yeah, a few. Technology hardware overview number 2, video and time lapses. Excuse me, sorry. So, for the videos, the Freedom 360, the F360 Explorer, I checked on Jürgen's website that I was getting these names right. Again, just rock solid pieces of equipment. You don't want your rig causing you problems. We all know there's some issues with GoPro cameras. We're having huge problems with GoPro Hero 4s at the moment because we're in Dubai, and I think the temperature in Dubai today in the shade is 48 degrees centigrade. That tends to be a problem with the GoPro Hero 4s overheating. But the rig's absolutely faultless. The Color Abyss, which is horribly underused by us, but an amazing piece of technology. Ignacio showed a lot more on that in his previous talk, so I won't go on over that. I find these, we like to sort of test different things out. The Izuga, is that how I pronounce it? The Z4X, the 4-camera GoPro rig with just the 4 lenses, is fantastic for drone work. So we use that on the drones, because obviously it's much lighter, so the drone can fly for longer. We have a guy in Dubai Film who is the drone guy. We have a number of drones, but I'm told the drone we use is DJI S1000. So I think there's a picture of that coming up. In terms of cameras, we started off with Hero 3s, then the 3 Plus comes out, and then the Hero 4 comes out. So we're upgrading or changing the cameras in the rigs, but we have actually recently hastily run back and pulled the Hero 3 Pluses out of retirement because of some overheating problems. For the time lapses and the aerial, so when I say aerial, I'm talking about the aerial still panoramas that we have in the tour, and I'll show you some of those. We obviously, for time lapses and for aerial, you have the same requirement. You want to be able to shoot the full 360 in one go. So we have multi-camera rigs for that, and we use Canon 1DXs. The reason for that is primarily driven by the time lapse requirements, and if you want to run a camera for 24 hours, 48 hours, and be absolutely reliable, that's going to go fire and fire and fire and fire and fire. I personally would not trust a Canon 5D Mark III for that. You've got to go for You know, they're seriously well built, completely weather sealed, and you know, they're magnesium chassis and whatever else it has. The shutter rating obviously on it is a lot more as well. You imagine a single shoot, you're putting 25, maybe 25,000 frames on just a single camera. I can't remember what the 5D3 is rated for. I think it's gone up actually since the 5D2, but the 1DX just keeps going and going and going. And lots and lots and lots of completely custom designed and manufactured mounts and rigs, which again, I think we're going to see a couple of those. Is there more hardware? No, okay, so the rigs. So let me just sit down and go through these ones. These you'll all be familiar with, but just to show you that you know, these are all starred in the production. Freedom 360 and the Freedom 360 Explorer. We got, I'm trying to, when I put this up, I was trying to think, have we used one of these yet? It's terrible. We actually bought 3, because one of the things I wanted to do was put them in the Dubai fountain, so at 3 different places, maybe coming up sort of a metre or so out of the water. We just haven't got around to doing that shot yet, so that's to come. The Color Abyss, which you saw earlier, that is a hunk of equipment, that thing, amazing. If you ever get a chance just to feel one, I mean, it's heavy and amazingly well built. Okay, there's the drone. So on the bottom you can see the 4-camera rig on the bottom, and then we have 1 camera sticking up the top, obviously to capture the sky. So those are the distance between those cameras and how they're set from a height perspective is so that the rotors completely disappear. The legs on this drone actually swing up once it takes off, and then they swing down when they land.
Question?
Yes.
Do you stabilize the cameras, or?
No. We haven't done a huge amount of drone footage yet. In fact, I think there's probably only 1 actually on the site. And yeah, we just haven't found a need to stabilize it. I'm not sure how you would be able to stabilize the bottom cameras and the top camera coherently, because if you stabilize the bottom ones, you're going to go out of sync with the one on the top. So almost it has to be, it's effectively like a rigid pole that almost virtually goes right through the middle of the rig. I don't know how could you stabilize it with one on top, I don't know. I would imagine that would be challenging. This is fantastic. Is Nick here, by the way? From Fanatec, Nick? Is he at the show?
He was here. I don't see him.
He was here? Okay, well this is his moment of glory. So we... when I shot the Burj Khalifa Pinnacle Gigapixel panorama back in 2013, if you actually go online and have a look at that, if you can find it, it's hard to find these days. The way we shot it was actually to put we had a tripod with the VR drive spinning around and taking a full sphere, but it was only about 2 meters or so above the top of the Burj Khalifa, which meant when you look down, you just have this massive block of sort of lightning conductors and aircraft beacons and everything. So to solve that, I also took a whole load of manual shots, just literally looking over the side of the Burj Khalifa and going click, 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 and then moving around the top of it, so that we could actually, you know, the top structure of the building wasn't actually obscuring anything of interest on the ground. And that was great, but it does 2 things. One, it sort of takes away the perspective of where you actually are. It actually makes, when you stitch that, you've effectively created a huge sort of dead zone underneath the cameras, which means that the top, I think something like the top 100 meters of the building just disappears. So if I may go back in a minute and show you at the end, it looks like that panorama was actually taken by flying above the Burj Khalifa. It wasn't, it's just the way that we shot it and the way that it was stitched together. So for this, what we wanted to do was come up with a solution where we could actually just raise the cameras a lot higher, not just for the Burj Khalifa, but for other buildings as well. So this is actually, this was designed in-house, and then a lot of work backwards and forwards with Nick in terms of actually speccing and getting it built. And this was spoken about on the forums, on the Facebook group as well. But it's a quad pole rig, 4 of the big 5-meter poles, forgive me, I've forgotten what they're called, with custom outriggers as well. The outriggers obviously can come off, so we can either strap this thing or bolt it into an object, or we can put it on a roof if there's a flat surface and just get you know, much higher vantage points to put the cameras on. And if you notice at the top of it, and Apple doesn't give you a mouse when you wiggle about, coming over this side. So the head for this is actually a dual head. So one way up, and it has the mounts for the 4 Canon 1DXs when we're doing the time lapses. But if you flip it around the other way, there's then a post, and that post is then what you put the VR drive on top of if you want to shoot the gigapixel. And we're just showing that with the remote control to trigger the time lapses. These are batteries at the bottom here, so we can power the cameras for a long time if necessary.
Gerald?
Yes?
Quick question. Can you use one remote to do all 4 of the cameras if you have several guys together with the devices got for that?
Yeah, so I tell you, we spent a lot of time trying to get a reliable solution to fire the 4 cameras. And the remote at the time was the only remote control we could find that would do it, and it just has 2 little Y splitters. So lead comes out of the remote, goes into splitter, and it actually has 3 things coming off it. So those first 2 trigger the first 2 cameras, and then the third lead goes into a second one of these splitters, and those 2 then fire the other 2 cameras. I think this is actually down to the camera. Typically, over a 24-hour shoot, we might lose. Well, one camera was always fine. Another camera may lose sort of 5 or 6 frames over that period, and then we had another camera which was losing a lot, so we replaced it. So we're pretty sure it's not the triggering issue that's an issue in terms of a camera just not firing. But the last time lapse we did, we had 1 dropped frame out of about 70,000 shots. So it's very reliable. 2 AA batteries will run it for 48 hours easy. I think it's 2 AA batteries. In terms of powering it, so I didn't finish on the batteries. Canon have an AC adapter for the 1DX. I think they do it for other cameras as well. It's just a dummy battery with a cord coming out of it. So we got that customized to run off V-lock plates, and then these are PAG-link batteries. So a pair of these batteries on one camera will run it for 3 to 4 days. Okay. So that's that rig. Oh, and here it is flipped. Sorry, I thought I had both in. So here you can see we've actually flipped the head, the same thing, and then a pole with the VR on top of it. Okay, software. We don't just use colour for the stitching. So PT GUI is used as well. But AutoPano Giga, all the video stitching with AutoPano Video Pro, as say PT GUI as well. This is sort of how the website looked in terms of the landing page of the website was up until last night, actually. Tour build, how to build tours. So there's a few slides on here which I'll probably go through a little bit quickly because keeping an eye on the time. Project Granier was the code name for this project, so that when it was being discussed, it wasn't called Project Dubai360 because that would have given the game away. And this is what it looks like. So I've just a few screenshots so you can get a handle of what it looks like. Very, very different to probably what you're used to in terms of managing things, but it's just remarkably efficient. I'm just going to walk through the tabs at the top where it says Scenes, Hubs, Groups, Users, Floor Plans, and Translations. I don't know if this battery maybe is going in this thing. So here you can see just a list of the number of scenes that we have, what the status is in terms of whether it's in draft or pre-production or production, because obviously we need to be able to work on these things, add hotspots to the scenes, and then move them forward to production. So there's a draft area, there's then a pre-production testing area. Do I need to start shouting? Or shall I use that microphone? Luke, shall I use that microphone? Hold up. It's the terminated. I'll just use the. Ah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so in terms of the layout, it's fairly simple. It's very easy to use, and again, all web-based. I'm just hiding the actual browser page this is on because I don't want anybody trying to hack it and change things in the tool. So the scene. So the concept of a scene is a single spot, a single panorama in the tour. So there's quite a number of those. I'll talk about the numbers in a moment. And then when we go and select a scene, basically just has some basic information. So titles, descriptions, meta titles and descriptions. We actually the front end, when people actually go and see it in the browser and actually experience the tour, we translate these titles and these descriptions. So we have sort of an internal reference for every panorama, which is the very top line, which is if you like, the code for that panorama. But then we have an internal title and description, but then the translator, copywriter Carly, then puts good words around those descriptions. You've got a thumbnail there, you can give things different categories. Again, I'm going to have to skip a lot of this. And then the groups I will talk about. So there we're looking at a helicopter shot. We got obviously the geolocation and the heading in terms of the direction of the centre of the panorama.
Quick question.
Yes.
That looks very accurate with 2 digits after the decimal, 2 decimal digits. How do you get it so accurate, or is it just
Google Maps? just literally saying it was taken there, and then just copy and pasting that. We didn't actually do any geo-tracking or geolocating when we were shooting these. It was after the event. What are we flying directly over? Find it on the map and drop a pin, and then just copy the coordinates across.
No, but I mean the heading specifically.
Oh, the heading. I think that's probably just Nawaz being really efficient and working out. No, it does seem very detailed, that one. I did tell him. I said, Nawaz, if you're watching this, you only need to get it to like the nearest 5 or 10 degrees. That's enough. I'm not quite sure how that came up to 176.42.
It's got 42 in it, so.
Yeah, it's always good to have 42 things. Absolutely. The groups. So I remember having long conversations with Alexander, trying to convince him that he was wrong in the approach for groups, and of course he turned out to be right. My initial thought was, again, coming from my background in terms of business software and reporting software and planning software, was thinking, we have to have these nice hierarchical structures to the groups. And in fact, the groups are just, if you think of them, just sets and Venn diagrams. So we can have a group which is completely contained within another group, or we can have 2 groups which slightly overlap in terms of their content. So it's very, very free form there. The groups are not directly visible from the user perspective. They don't really translate to anything in terms of the front end and the interactivity on the tour, except for the fact that we can, when we're putting hotspots on, we can hotspot to a group or to a individual scene. So we can hotspot to a group, and then that hotspot will take you to the first panorama in that group. Sounds simple, sounds a bit basic, but it actually makes it very, very, very adaptable in terms of how you want to structure the tour, and it means that you can change things easily if you want to redirect people at any point in time. So that's groups. The other thing that's associated with groups is floor plan. So obviously a floor plan is attached to the group. And here's an example looking at some of the details of a group. So Dubai360. Again, we're seeing the first scene. Threshold is just, you can just set a threshold in terms of a number of panoramas that you think you're going to add to that group. We don't really use that much. And then the the number of scenes, or the scenes that are actually within that group. Users, as I said, we're managing different users, so here's a list of the different people and the different roles that they can have, and I can obviously kick people off or add people onto that if necessary. Floor plans, again, it's just a list of floor plans, so you have a group and you associate a floor plan with it. And we'll have a look, and here we just stole the floor plan from Dubai Mall, and then we go and put all the hot spots on the floor plan. Translations, so basically you can translate anything, but here we're looking at scenes. And then when you go and select one of those scenes there, you then see that there's where you can then change the title and translate the title and put the nice descriptions on it. Depending on how you're set up as a user, you can be a translator for different languages. So Carl is set up as an English translator. She goes and translates into English. We're shortly going to be working with an Arabic copywriter who will go in and they'll see it in Arabic, and all the front end will change into Arabic as well, and then they'll do the translations into Arabic themselves. Just little videos from the play, just so you can see. Here's the hotspot editor, who has kindly recorded this. So he's just going to add a hotspot, move it. Can you see this? Just about. And then go and give it a name. And these are different actions, so you can open external link, you can bring up a text box, you can go to a scene, or as I said earlier on, you can go to a group. And as soon as you select scenes and groups, it presents you with other scenes in that group, or scenes which are in the same facility, or you can actually search through the entire scene, or the entire tour to find the right one that you want. And that's the hotspot created. Oh, we're running out of time. Functionality live demo. Okay, so I'm just going to flip to...
One question.
Yes?
Is this system based on a content management system or content management framework, or is it completely hand-grown?
Whoa. Alexander, A, B, or C?
The system is really a content management system, completely built in-house, out of standard technologies. It really works, we were based, designed on something that is just like WordPress, but doesn't work like WordPress, because that media, the immersive media, is a bit different, it needs adaptation. So.
Okay. So, again, being aware of time, I'm live on the website now. Forgive me, this is one situation where I can blame the network if things aren't as quick as they should be. Let me just very quickly take you around some of the functionality. The information, that's where Carly's fantastic descriptions come on, so come in the side there. I hid the help text, so there's the welcome screen, in fact welcome screens that just take you through what it is, the different categories. So the categories define the icon. So when you see that icon there of a building, that's because it's a rooftop panorama. This one is a little hotel, so that's going to take you to a hotel. So, and this one is just a general category. We may add more categories later. And then the hotspots, whether they're informational, whether it takes you to an external link, or whether there's a video. So where there's a video, you get the little play icon. At the moment, we're not using any information hotspots or external links. We're not keen to send people away from the tour at the moment, although we have actually, in process right now, is some informational hotspots on some new content which is going to the tour in the next day or so, because it's a specific request to better identify different pieces of artwork and just give some descriptions to them, so we're going to start using those for the first time. Feedback, so you can different sorts of feedback that you can use there, and that just comes through to our email. Change the language, at the moment only English and Arabic, and we haven't translated anything to Arabic, so you can see the UI has changed to Arabic, and then of course everything flips around, and then I have to find out how to put it back to English. There we go, because Arabic is read right to left, not left to right, so we move everything about. It's up there. What does this one do? Projection. Rectilinear, little planet, or fisheye. Projections we have on the still panoramas. Search, which is the new thing, which is really nice. It's if I want to find the bathroom in the Royal Suite in the Burj Al Arab, I should hopefully just say Burj Royal Bath, and Click on that, and I'm now in the bathroom at the Burj Al Arab Royal Suite. If anybody wants to know what I think, $15,000 a night hotel suite looks like. If you want it to look like that, feel free to go and book it. Extremely garish, sorry. Where's the bed? I'm not sure where the bed. Oh, the bed's coming through here. Anyway, won't do that. So the search for the is fantastic. We can also filter it by different categories. So, for example, if I wanted to try to find the aerial panorama that's above the Burj Al Arab, then I just click on the filter for aerial and then type Burj Al Arab. And above Burj Al Arab. So now here I am above the Burj Al Arab. You saw that right at the start. That's the search functionality, which I personally love. And the interesting thing about this is you always have to think of the different people who are going to be using this tour. And for me, it's like, well, if I'm going to go to the Burj Al Arab, well, it's easy. You know, if I'm starting at the Burj Khalifa, I look that direction, hop over to it, and bang, I'm at the Burj Al Arab. But to find the Burj Al Arab like that, you have to know where it is related to other things. And it was interesting, my wife, within the first minute of actually me showing the tour to her before it went live, she said, I want to go to the Burj Al Arab. And I said, well, spin around that way. And she said, no, I just want to go like that. So, you know, having that sort of, for something like this, where you're going to, you know, the users or the people who are going to be using this are going to be people maybe who have never been to Dubai before, or maybe seen a couple of things, but they don't know where anything is related to anything else. But also for people who just want to be able to jump from location to location, the search functionality is really key. We have a map, which now shows you where you are, and as you zoom in, you get more and more detail on there. It's only the groups that we're showing on here on the map at the moment, so we're not, when these are popping up, every single one of these is referring to a group, not just a single panorama. So here, if we want to go to Al Hikmah Tower, which is near the Burj Khalifa, there's actually a number of panoramas on there, but that's the first panorama in the group. Just going to go down here. So let's just jump down Sheikh Zayed Road. And here's the metro. So remember I said about the metro video? So we have some really cool stuff in this, which I'm absolutely delighted with. Forgive me if there's a bit of a delay. There's a single video of, this is the red line, there's a single video that goes the whole length of the track in one direction, and there's a single video that goes the whole length of the track in the other direction. Jürgen will remember this very well, because he shot all these panoramas from the middle of the bridges over Sheikh Zayed Road. Again, not an easy thing to get access to. But I click on here, and it will take me onto that metro train, at that station. So now when I come out of the station, and I look back, there's the bridge that I've just come from. You can see here's where we mounted the pole, so you can actually see the reflection of the pole there onto the train. This is great as a little planet. Everybody loves little planets, don't they? And then the nice thing, of course, is as you're traveling on the metro and you can see where you are, is we have moving hotspots in the video as well. So as we come up to the next station, as you get close to it, a hotspot will come up, and it's there for a little while, and you can just click on it, and bang, you get off at that station. Yeah, so that's some pretty cool functionality.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
How do we do it, or how did Colour do it? There's two different questions. We have in the front end, there's a tool for us to add video hotspots, and you just keyframe where you want the hotspot to be over time. So if it's moving, then you just do it, move it forward a second or half a frame or half a second or however long, and then just keyframe it. It's very, very easy. It's very intuitive and easy to do. Anything else specifically? Let's just go to the mall. So when we went, I'll talk about this in a minute. When we went live, we actually only had 8 panoramas in Dubai Mall that we'd shot. As you can see from the hotspots, we've got rather more than that now. But I just wanted to use the mall just to show you the floor plans. So we've got floor plans for every level. And then as you zoom in, you're then seeing all the hotspots that were taken around the mall. That's the floor plans. Sorry, question?
How do you define when you cannot see the hotspots?
Oh, I see. Manuel. This is what I said. This is just all amazing stuff that's been done by people that we partnered with. How they do it, I don't really concern myself with. I'm just glad that they do. So you know, just the ability to just introduce more content as you're zooming in. I'm sure it's fairly complex, but it just creates the desired effect in terms of you know, being able to give people the flexibility. Because I'll say about the number of hotspots in a moment. There are a crazy number of hotspots in here. In fact, this is the one concept I didn't show you, the hub. This is like sort of my escape button, get me somewhere out because I'm lost in the mall. I mean, you just think about the number of hotspots on here. And I'll tell you some numbers in a moment. It's quite insane. Oops. Oh no, I hate that when you do that. Right, share view is something I absolutely love, so we won't do that. Let's say I want to go down and zoom into this swimming pool. Address hotel, and I can say share view. The share view will take a virtual photograph of exactly what I'm looking at. I can just copy and paste that. So if I want to send it just quickly to somebody, I can just give them that link, and that link will take them to the exact view and orientation that was there. Or alternatively, I can share that on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, or by email, and it shares it along with the image. I'm not going to log onto my Facebook account on Luke's laptop because I don't trust him, and I'm sure he wouldn't let me log onto his because he shouldn't trust me. But it's great because it sends the image, and it's like, oh, here's the image and here's the link, and if you click on the link, you go to that exact view, and then also you can pick up the tool from there. And then there's an auto tool button here, and I think that's pretty much the UI. That's very quick. I think I showed most of the things I wanted to show you. And, wow, how time flies. So speeding up. We launched on January the 19th this year. 1,298 pieces of panoramic content, stills, videos, time lapses, and 13,000 hotspots, linking those together. Since launch, obviously there wasn't much sort of creation of new content in launch. There was a lot of work going on to sort of get ready for a live event, a live presentation of Dubai360, or if you like, a public presentation of it. I was asked to come up with an idea for a launch event. Now, originally the intention was to actually have this event at the same time as the website launch, but the unfortunate idea I came up with, and that was signed off, took a little bit longer to put together. And has anybody not seen or heard of the sphere that we put in Dubai Mall? Hands up if you're not familiar with it. Well, okay, I'll play the video. So we had a 15-meter diameter full spherical projection system built, temporary installation. We have done a lot of digging on this. We believe it is actually the largest full spherical projection theatre ever built, and possibly only the third one ever built. There was one done in Taiwan in 2005, there was one done in Tokyo in 2010. They may well be the same one, we're not sure. And there's this one. These things do not exist much. Let me just quickly run a video on that, so those who've not seen it can get an idea as to what was involved. So this is a video put together by the guys who built it. And Obscura Digital. This was actually out in an aircraft hangar in San Francisco. It was the only place they could find where they could actually build this thing to scale. They had to build it to test it, to make sure it was all going to work, so that when they came to Dubai, they could actually build it very quickly. So you're just going to see sort of a time lapse of the thing being built. We went out to see this in early January and see it with some of our content on it. Just as a structure, it's absolutely amazing. And then it was brought to Dubai. We took over a space in Dubai Mall, the world's biggest shopping mall, the busiest, the highest footfall area in the world's biggest shopping mall. It took 2 weeks to build. You can see one of the 18 projectors going in. You'll see it's quite a thing to do this. and then you'll just see us saying, I'm not playing any audio, but now you can see the test calibrations going on. So basically you walk up 6.5 meters, and then you walk across a bridge. These are the people queuing up to go on, and that's what it looks like inside. It's playing. This is just a CGI introduction, again, surrounded by skydivers diving. Look up to see the helicopter. And we had it in the mall. It was operating from 10 in the morning till midnight every single day and in the end it was 11 days. We opened late because there was a possible VVIP who was going to come and see it, and in the end he didn't. So then we just decided just to go and open it. And that's what it looked like in the mall. There's the VIPs going in. And it was full from 10 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock at night, or at weekends 1 o'clock at night. We had batches of 20 people going in, and it's just playing a video of content from the tour. We had a 3-minute or 3.5-minute show and a 6.5-minute show. That's not the general public in there. This is what it's like going through the tunnel. And we just had queues. There was only 2 days where between about 10 and 10:30, they were going in batches of maybe sort of 7 or 10 or so, and then after that, it was just solid people all the time. So that was quite amazing. Maybe didn't make as much of that as we could have done from a PR perspective, but that was the physical event.
Gerald?
Yes.
Question, why was it only up for 2 weeks?
Because that's how long we asked for. No, so the mall, I say that space in the mall is a commercial space which is used that they sell to people and they had like bookings and stuff. So it's also extremely expensive to run that thing. Everything that we bought, we own the sphere itself. So the sphere and the skin we own. Everything else was rented. The staircase, the bridge, the projectors, all the computers, the number of people that have to be on site all the time to keep that thing up and running. There's 18 projectors in there. The list price of each projector is $55,000. And we're renting them, so there's a cost per day to rent them. So yeah, I mean, it was just a decision that 2 weeks was enough to say, hey, look at this.
Do you have any plans to bring it back somewhere as an installation?
Would love to, but it would cost an absolute fortune. I'm not going to disclose the number. It is not cheap doing that. As I say, we own the physical sphere. There's nothing you can do that without 2 weeks of work to put it up, build it somewhere. You can strip it down in 3 days, but it takes 2 weeks to put it up. And you've got to rent an awful lot of expensive gear to keep it running.
Do you happen to know the resolution at the horizon? Because Immerser was asking for it.
Yes, so it's 6K all around, which sounds a lot, but it's not enough. In my view, it's actually fairly soft, but it's 6K resolution. Each projector, you can do the math. It's easy to do the maths because you know the size of the interior of the sphere and everything. But 6K, I think it was 6K.
Gerald?
Yes.
What kind of...
Sorry, can I just check, Luke? How are we for time? Because I know it's been an hour and 5 minutes.
That doesn't bother us at all. Just
Okay.
keep on going.
Okay.
The mapping software, do you know what they use? Is that Watchout or a different piece of software?
It's all their own proprietary software, servers, everything. It's all their own stuff. Their main business is they do projection mapping onto buildings. Is what they do an awful lot of. I mean, they do domes before. They've never done a sphere before because I think only one other company in the world has ever done a sphere before. Yeah, in terms of the actual the projection mapping of each of those projectors is all their own proprietary work.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So that kept us occupied in March, or up to March. And then I did note that my boss, Ismail, he very kindly, without even referring to me or asking me for my thoughts on it, when he was being interviewed, when the site was live, he said, we fully expect to double the number of the amount of content within the first year. Thanks, boss. Although, as then, I do have a remarkable team working with me. At the beginning of April, so basically it was a few days after the sphere came down, We launched what we call a comprehensive tour of Dubai Mall. It's 294 panoramas covering the entire mall. You can see every single shop front in at least one panorama. So that was the first additional piece of content. And what you'll see, we're trying to drop new content in each month. At the beginning of May. This was important because people obviously have this perception of Dubai as being all glitzy and glamorous and malls and skyscrapers and 5- and 7-star hotels and stuff like that. But and people, Dubai gets a tough rap sometimes because people say that's all there is to Dubai, and it's absolutely not the case. There's a huge amount of heritage and history across the Emirates and in Dubai, and it's actually something that the Dubai tourism, I think, are sort of pushing quite strongly this year in terms of pushing the sort of cultural and the heritage content. So we went to some of the the specific heritage sites and shot and added another 186 panoramas into the tour. And what we do each month is we just change the landing page, so that for the first 3 months it was the top of the Burj Khalifa. Then when we did Dubai Mall, we put you in when you just go to Dubai360, you land in the mall. Then we put you down by the creek last month, and just launched yesterday or the day before, is what we internally we're referring to as old Dubai. So it's the areas that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years, and a lot of these areas really haven't changed. And if you were to pick someone up and drop them in one of these areas, as I will show you, you wouldn't know it was Dubai. You'd have no idea where you were. So we're very keen to not fall into the trap of just doing the glitzy glam stuff, but also show the more down to earth parts of the city as well. So that's what went live yesterday. Unfortunately, not live yet because we're waiting for the descriptions to be done because the Heritage Centre is doing this. They have a calligraphy exhibition every year. So we in a very small area, but very dense panoramas that we shot, so you can actually see all the Arabic calligraphy is just amazing artwork. So we just shot that. That hopefully will be up within the week. And the other thing is not just about adding content to the website; it's also about adding additional functionality to the website. So the search that you saw, that wasn't there at the start. That went in about a month ago, I think, thereabouts. And some tweaks and updates on the UI as you get a better handle as to how it's being used and how it should be used. So that was a post-launch activity. And I think the sphere. I jumped ahead there because we saw it earlier on, so we've just seen that video. Questions? Here's something that's not in the tour. Wait for it. Come on, play. Play. That's on autoplay. It's not playing.
So, any question?
I have one question. How is the model business? Each hotel or luxury commercial building pay to Dubai360.com to be a virtual?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay. How is the model business of Dubai360? Each hotel or commercial building pay for this platform to be a virtual?
Sorry. Okay, so I'm extremely annoyed this video isn't playing. Forgive me, because you need to see this. This is really okay. It's playing now. The positioning of Dubai360 is not positioned at the moment as a commercial venture. Yeah. So we want to put content in the tour, which is going to show Dubai in a good way or in an interesting way to people around the world. So whether it's people who are just interested in Dubai or people who are thinking of traveling to Dubai, and it's a long-winded way of answering your question, but this is not a case of we want to go to someone and say, right, you want to be in the tour, we're going to charge you X amount of money. Yeah. In the main, it's like if somebody comes to us and says, oh, we've got a hotel, we want you to come and shoot the hotel and add it to the tour, then we would say, does it make sense to add this hotel to the tour? And we would shoot it and we would add the content in the main. What we wouldn't do at the moment is actually allow people to use that same content on their own site. So if people want to be in Dubai360, we're very happy to take those requests and go and do the work to actually add them in. But it's very much about creating more engaging content in the tour. Did that answer your question? I'm not sure whether it... Maybe see me afterwards and maybe we'll be able to understand slightly better. Yeah.
We were all distracted by the video anyway, so.
Okay. Well, that is his question. Yeah, so this was... again, this is one of the cool things about being associated with Dubai Film, and the stuff that Dubai Film does is, you know, these athletes, these crazy guys who base jump off the Burj Khalifa, well, you know, we can stick a 360 rig on his head. I didn't even know this existed until 2 weeks ago. This was filmed over a year ago. And I was one of the guys who's actually working on again, there was a Dubai Film production about this base jump. One of the guys who's the director of that, I was in his room and he was like doing some nighttime, he was putting together some nighttime footage, and I said, I didn't know we actually got video of the nighttime jump, and I went to Nawaz and said, Nawaz, did we get 360 video of the nighttime base jump off the Burj Khalifa? And he goes, yeah. I said, why didn't you ever show it to me? It's really cool. I mean, there's some issues with, you know, the usual issues you've got with his video, and there's one camera which is slightly out of sync, and I thought it'd just be fun just to play that as a little video at the end of it, just a little planet. That one's not in at all. Any more questions? Yes?
Thank you for a really great presentation. Very interesting that you go into how are you able to make something this large, because the back-end stuff, really interesting. The need for grips, people to make things legal.
Yep.
It seems like most of your team is working with back-end stuff and making things possible.
Yeah, as I said, all those people who are listed underneath, they're not working on Dubai360 full time. You know, we have one protocol guy now who we will, you know, if we need to go and shoot somewhere, we'll say to him, you know, maybe give him 24 hours, 48 hours notice, and I'll say, I want to be on this building 9 o'clock on Tuesday, and he'll just make it happen. And there's, you know, what we have found is that even before anybody understood what was going on, people are very keen to help out with a project like this when it's coming from where this comes from. And so we're extremely fortunate that people are keen to help out. But there is, as I say, there's an enormous amount of work that goes in behind the scenes to make this possible.
Yeah. Got a short follow-up. The back-end software. Are there any official plans for it? Development? Will it be available?
We engaged with Color to develop the software that we needed. It's Color's software, it's Color's IP. So in terms of any possibility of that software being available for others, the conversation should be had with Alexander.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, actually, we are running out of time, no matter what Reload says.
One more question, yeah.
Is that a Janelle 100?
I'm glad you asked that. No, it's not. This is a little bit of a tease. People may have seen a month or two back, there was a little bit of a buzz in the photographic blogs about a lens that appeared on eBay for sale. It's Janelle 100. It's a 100-inch or 2,540 millimeter lens off a missile tracking system. This is not that lens. This is that lens's big brother. This is the Janelle 200. It is a 5,080 millimeter f/16 lens. Jeffrey, where are you? Jeffrey, is he here? Okay. That's a Canon 1DX on the back of it. We can put anything on the back of this. I'm not saying we're going to. If this was used to create a gigapixel spherical panorama, it would be 21.5 terapixels in size. That's the good news. The bad news is you'd have to shoot 1.1 million photographs. So maybe we won't do it. I don't know, maybe we will. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gerhard. So, instead of a long break, you guys are going to get a short break. So see you around 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Sergey, please.